All right, I just wanted to do a Titan silicone polymer seal update. I bought the Titan Stop Oil Leak silicone polymer seal a month ago, and I uploaded a video, and I had 3 oil leaks. And so I got a second kind of Titan oil seal that's for the front differential. And so it's a thicker, because the front differential oil is thicker oil. And at first I thought it's not working. I had 3 oil leaks. I bought a new oil plug with a washer that I have not installed yet because I thought, well, maybe that's the cause of the leak. But they said to keep running your oil until the next oil change. I am about 100 miles away from the next oil change. I change the oil every 3,000 miles because it's a high mileage car, and that's what they recommend, unless you use synthetic. But I have issues with synthetic. I might use synthetic in the wintertime. Anyway, sure enough, I did a couple long road trips. I went up to my forest farm. I harvested some forest shiitake mushroom, and I went to help my buddy on his wife's farm. And then I kind of forgot about it, but then all of a sudden I noticed it looked like it stopped leaking oil. So then I switched out the cardboard. I put in new cardboard so there was no leaks on it already. I checked the first time I checked it, and like there was leaks there, but they were all dry. The leaks were dry. So I'm like, oh, if it had leaked oil, it'd still be fresh because it's from the night before. So then I thought, well, if it's still dry, then I don't think it's leaking oil. So I put in the new cardboard, and I went for another drive, and normally it would leak oil, and there was literally no oil leak, and like none of the 3 spots leaked oil. So I'm in shock. I don't know. It's hard for me to believe it, but basically this stuff saved me a $3,000 repair. Now there's a guy, Kevin Nadeau. He just replaced the seal himself, and but if you read his comment section, other people tried to replicate his repair, and it's an advanced repair because you have to figure out how the inner shaft seal. You have to put together the inner shaft, the car shaft. You have to take apart the whole drivetrain, to do the repair. I wasn't willing to do that, and so otherwise you'd have to have the dealer do it because the local mechanics, they don't want to do that kind of intensive repair because this engine design, it's like super hard to work on because the front axle goes through the oil pan, and this seal, it connects the front differential to the oil pan. And so it would have been a $3,000 repair if the dealer had done it, because they charge a lot for parts. And even though the part was cheap itself, but the labor it probably would have been at least $2,000 for labor. It would have taken them a long time. And then who knows if they would have done it right, because they're taking the whole car apart, and some of those parts, they don't have any oil in them. They're just like grease, factory grease, and if they don't re-grease them, then it might not work. It might not work. It might cause more problems, when they take it apart. So the fact that I spent like $150 for the silicone polymer repair, and what it does is it rebuilds your silicone. It actually rebuilds the silicone seal. It's not just like a swelling agent, like most of these repair things are swelling agents. Like if you get high mileage oil, it's got swelling agents in it, but that can actually weaken the strength of your seal, because it's basically just breaking the bonds apart so they swell up. And then I had a rattle in the back of the car, and that's because I realized finally I replaced a couple parts. I got some tools and I tightened some other parts, and I realized it was from the new strut, because I had a new strut, and luckily I had a 19 millimeter. I had a deep socket and then a normal socket, and I put those two on there, and I was able to tighten it by hand. Using just a hand wrench on both sides, and then I couldn't move it anymore. It's not loose, the bottom connection for this rear passenger strut. So I'm pretty excited, because it was making a rattle noise whenever I went over a bump, on slow speed. Obviously the strut, the suspension, the shock, it's gonna move, because that's what it's supposed to do, but it was loose, and so it was making this rattle. And I read up on these forums, and there's all these complaints about, people get a rattle sound after they get their new strut installed, and everybody says, well, make sure it's tight, you gotta. And so I figured, well, the mechanics, they know what they're doing. But sure enough, I thought maybe the part wasn't fitting correctly, like maybe the bolt. Sometime one guy said the bolt hole was too big for the bolt. I thought that was the problem, but no, it was. I just tightened it, and meanwhile, I replaced the rear sway bar link, or I had that done, because I couldn't get it. I couldn't break that free. It was torqued really tight, and I got 2 wrenches to tighten the rear track bar, the pan hard bar, as they call it. Anyway, so that's it for now, and that's the car update. I'm gonna spray the wax on the inside of the frame, the paraffin wax. I got a 360-degree wand to make sure I really get the wax good on the inside of the frame, and that's it.